We are back now at 8:14, and I'm sure you've heard by now, Sean Diddy Combs pleading not guilty in federal court to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. The music mogul was denied bail and taken into custody. We're going to talk more about this and break down what we saw in the indictment. Bringing in here senior legal analyst Chris Tritico. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
So there are a lot of allegations, a lot of things in this 14-page indictment, a lot of shocking things to read. It'll take a while to break down everything, but here briefly, can you break down what exactly the prosecutors are alleging in this?
So he was sued last year in November by his former partner, and this case mirrors the lawsuit. He settled the lawsuit in one day. And so this case mirrors that lawsuit, and they just took the petition and really investigated that petition, and this is what they came up with. So he's got a racketeering charge, which is basically a conspiracy charge. We don't charge racketeering very often because conspiracy is easier to make, but he's the only defendant. You have to have multiple people to make conspiracy. He's charged with sex trafficking, taking women across state lines for the purposes of sex. That carries a mandatory minimum of 15 years. And other charges. Those are the two, the racketeering and the trafficking people across state lines for the purpose of sex, are the two biggest charges he faces. In the raids of his homes in Los Angeles and in Miami, they found 1,000 bottles of oil and other items. I don't know anybody that has 1,000 bottles of oil.
Yeah.
So that's a problem. And he's got a forfeiture count. A forfeiture count, if they prove that, if they go to trial and you lose, and they prove the forfeiture beyond a reasonable doubt, they can forfeit a lot of money from a billionaire. So it's a problem for him.
So I know his attorneys were trying to at least get the judge to give him bail so he can bail out. And then I was reading actually where he and all of his children forfeited their passports because him potentially being a flight risk.
Correct.
Why did you think he was denied bail in this?
So the judge said yesterday that even in the wake of a request for bail and a suggestion of a $50 million bond, that what he's accused of happens behind closed doors, and you cannot monitor that, and the flight risk that he was denied bail. And I'm not surprised by that in an allegation like this, that of forcing women to have sex, drugging them, and things like that. I'm not surprised that he was denied bail. Really
quickly here, I know he pleaded not guilty, and he has said for quite some time that he's been innocent in this. But then there's also video showing him in hotels abusing Cassie, for example.
Right.
What is the strategy here for pleading not guilty?
Well, you always enter a plea of not guilty on your first day. No one, very few people plead guilty on their first day. He's going to probably have to go to trial on this case. It'd be my guess. Someone of his stature and his financial resources would generally go to trial on something like this. We'll see.
We'll see for sure. One last question too. With the feds being involved in this, a lot of people say once the feds get you and they put up a case against you, usually it's hard to get off of that. Your thoughts seeing this?
Well, so this is a difficult case. There's substantial allegations made against him. He's a billionaire. He's got substantial resources to fight this case. Yeah. This is the type of case that we would expect to see a trial in this, and a long, difficult trial for the government. The Southern District of New York and Manhattan is where we see these type of cases brought and difficult, long trials had. Yeah. And so we'll see where it goes, but I will not be surprised to see a trial in this case.
All right, we'll see what happens. Chris, always good to see you. Appreciate you, sir.
You bet.